Mr. Hogdale, Mr. Huckvale, Grant Huckvale. To people that don't know who you are, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Hogdale, also known as Grant Huckvale, because Ed doxed me on the internet. No, my name's always been out there. Yeah, I make video content. I make sports content. I stream. Now for Barstool Sports. I got hired by Barstool a couple months ago, and it's been very wonderful.
We've known each other for a few years now. We work together.
You're a complete
And
stranger. I have no idea who you are.
well, what I was going to say is that as long as I've known you, this is what you've wanted to do. And it took you about 4 years to get there. And now you're doing that. And what is life like now for Hogdale to wake up in the morning?
Uh, I'm not gonna lie. It's just like my life is impossibly great at the moment. It's about like because especially because it's like the off season, for baseball, and baseball is where my bread and butter mostly is. So like I wake up with no stress in my life at all because they pay me a living wage, which is very nice. The first job I've ever worked that pays me enough to not just like survive but thrive and just be have no worries at all.
Let's go
It's
all the way
awesome.
back. Let's go all the way back and just what is Hogdale the kid like? What's Hogdale circa? How old are you?
I am 26 years old.
You're 26. So what was Hogdale circa? Let's go. Good year, 2004, first year the Red Sox won the World Series.
I could
What
not tell. I don't remember a thing from when I was 5 years old. Until I was
really?
five
Nothing?
years old in
You don't have
2004.
early. You don't. Okay. Well, let's. What are like the earliest Hogdale memories?
My earliest memories, like I have some scattered ones from when I was really young about like just hanging out. I remember like when I was like a really little kid, I might have been like 3 at the time. I just remember peeing in like the corner of my room because I didn't feel like going to the toilet. I do remember that. My mom was very upset at me. She took my TV away. I think I might have been 3 or 4 years old. Thing is, my memories of my super young youth are very, very scattered. Like, I don't know. Maybe I went through some super traumatic shit because it's just, I cannot recall it for the most part. There's only like a scatter. I remember having a vivid dream about like that Fruit Loop commercial from way back in the day with like the green monster thing and then Toucan Sam. Like, I remember that. I remember that.
Okay. Well, when did you start to want to talk about sports full time? Like, when did you want? When did that become your dream to talk about baseball, football, the stuff that you're doing now?
Probably forever. I mean, like as long as I remember wanting to, like, think about what I'd love to do when I was older. Like, man, if I could just yap about sports all day, that'd be just the perfect job. Like, just let me talk about the things that I'm most passionate about. Everything else is just like, I could really give a fuck less.
So this was like, were you? Did you ever take steps towards this? Like, say, let's say in high school or junior high or something like that. Was there like a broadcaster camp or something? Like my parents signed me up for all kinds of stuff to see like what I would like to do, and
The
a
only
lot of it I didn't tend to
broadcasting
take
stuff
interest
my
in.
high school offered was like, like those really shitty like school TV things. Like they had that, and then they had a sports management class which I took, but like it was sports management in the way of like we were calling advertising companies to advertise like for the field and stuff. Like nothing fun, like nothing like like how to run a team or anything like that. So I mean, in high school, like there really wasn't a lot, and mostly also because I didn't really get involved in a bunch of shit because I was very horrifically depressed at the time. I really didn't couldn't work myself up to do much of anything.
When you say horrifically depressed, like what I feel like people have an idea of depression just being like you're sad all the time, and yeah, that sometimes can be part of it, but it's not the only thing. Like what I guess like how did depression manifest with you in high school?
A lot of fucking got in a chronic Overwatch addiction. I think I put like a fucking 1,000 hours into Overwatch in my sophomore and junior year of high school. I was doing that to occupy like to make the dopamine receptors go up. Other than that, it was just nothing. It was just laying around because like I really wasn't super close. I have one like I had one friend. Like I have my best friend. His name is Brody. Great guy. I've known him basically my entire life. I had him, and he's in the grade above me. So like when he graduated, like fucking, I had an entire year where like genuinely I was just fucking doing nothing. I was doing nothing. I was sad. I was laying around. I was aimless, hopeless because I was like, I couldn't give a fuck about school, and like my grades weren't good, and it's like I didn't really, I couldn't even envision the future where I would go to college or anything even though I went to college, it's like all the programs near me didn't really have like a broadcasting program or anything like that. So it's like if I wanted to do something like that, I have to go move to, somewhere else, like far away from which, I never left the state of, I never lived anywhere but Iowa. I lived in Iowa basically my entire life.
Did you ever think about wanting to leave Iowa, or was that just for you not really an option?
Not really. Like, thing is like because when I got hired by Barstool, like plenty of people asked me like, are you going to move to New York? I'm like, why? Why would I do that? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't go outside. You guys know like that Earl Sweatshirt album, I don't like shit, I don't go outside. That's me. Like, fucking, I usually am my favorite person, especially when I'm in a healthy headspace. I just find myself more entertaining than any other person could be, and just enjoy my own company. So, like, and usually people are like, well, isn't that make you feel like lonely? Not really. No. I mean, in high school, when I was at the worst of depression, yes, I think it's the only time I've ever felt really lonely. And it's just because my best friend had gone to the fucking Navy and like, I just had nobody there. But, I mean, yeah, other than that, like, I don't know. I enjoy being alone. I mean, I'm not, I mean, as you know, I'm pretty good at talking to people. I'm pretty charismatic if I have to say so myself.
So so your friend was a little bit older than you then. How did you two meet?
Playground. He was in first grade. I was in kindergarten.
Oh wow! So that's
6.
that is a real like going all the way back.
He lived on the house like the house I grew up in. He lived like right there, not even a block away. Like I walked for like a minute and I was at his house.
What was your dynamic like?
Just very much like Brody's Leaf, it was very much like the leader of the group. I was much more of a follower. I'm very much was a go with the flow kind of kid for the most part. Wasn't trying to rock the boat. I was just trying to hang out, just trying to have fun with friends. I mean, we would play wrestle, like WWE. I had a trampoline in my backyard. That's what we spent the majority of childhood doing. I remember we had like an Extreme Rules match where we got like those dried out, those dried out branches with like the dried out leaves that are like really thin and wispy. We used those for like a fucking a hardcore match. I just remember us fucking whacking the shit out of each other with those, and they hurt like shit. They hurt like hell. I also knocked him out accidentally one time with a title belt. I didn't realize it at the time, but I thought he was like memeing. I thought he was just joking. But like, yeah, I had a title and I hit him like literally right on the temple, and like he fucking went down and he was just knocked out like cold. And I'm like,
for how long?
Like a good minute. Like a good minute. He was just unconscious. I'm like, dude, are you okay? Like, how was I gonna have to go get his mom?
So you were a go with the flow kid. At what point did the depression start to kick in?
Oh, I don't know. When do you start feeling existential thoughts? That's the thing.
Puberty.
That's the thing. It's like probably like as soon as I hit puberty, like probably like when I was 14 is like when the sadness was there. Because the thing is I don't know, like I feel like a lot of kids like they could put that off until their 20s or their 30s because of like an inherent belief in God. I never really had that. I've always been an agnostic atheist. My parents never forced religion on me. My dad was my dad just is a straight up atheist, if not an agnostic atheist. And then my mom is a Methodist, but she was so busy that she never went to church. Like she was working 2 jobs all the time. She didn't have time to go to church. And yeah, my grandma goes to church every Sunday, but she's like the ideal version of what you say a Christian should be, where it's like she just like she goes to church every Sunday and she never pressures you or anyone around them to do the same. She like, I remember like Christmas growing up, like you could tell me that Christmas has nothing to do with religion, and I believe you, because like she never brought that shit up. Like, oh, the baby Jesus. Like, she just wanted to give her grandkids presents.
Did you do Sunday school? Did they have you get that like the cultural education there?
I got confirmed in a Methodist church when I was like 14 because my mom like was for some reason desperate in having me do that. Biggest waste of time maybe in my entire life.
You didn't care for having to do. Did you do CCD?
The people there are very nice. It's just that the pastors were nice. The other kids were nice. It's just that I didn't learn anything. Like nothing like really picked up. Any moral lessons I learned from that place I already had ingrained in me from my dad and his very complex ideology of don't be a fucking asshole.
You're the oldest of 5, right?
I'm the oldest of three.
Three. Okay, you're the oldest of three. Did you have a close relationship with your siblings?
My brother growing up, we hated each other. We're good now. I mean, we're very close now. And my little sister, I'm just so much older than her by such a wide margin. I think I'm like 14 years older than her. I'm pretty sure she's 12.
Oh wow, that is quite an age difference there.
Yes.
So you didn't. So that like those relationships, I guess, weren't like things that were really. I guess they like when you were a kid, they just like weren't things that were really like influencing you or anything.
I wouldn't say so. No, not really. Because my younger brother, he was never really into sports at all. He liked games. I like video games as well, but he liked different shit than I did, so we never really bonded over that kind of stuff. He listened to different music than I did. He was big on the emo wave and fucking alternative pop punk. Big neck deep fan back in the day.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about listening to you, and I don't think we really have the same taste in music, but I really enjoy how passionate you are about music. When did that start?
Music's been around me my entire life. It's because of it's because of my dad. My dad loves music. He adores music. He used to just burn CDs all the time, like back when that was like a thing that people did all the time. So like he'd burn CDs with our favorite songs on it. I mean, the first time I heard Sgt. Pepper by the Beatles, like that entire album, is because my dad burned it onto a CD. I remember like we played it. He played it for us on like a drive to his place because I think he lived about an hour away from us at the time. And I remember it just fucking exploded my mind. It just changed everything for me.
Are there like albums that you heard when you were like like you don't remember a lot from when you were like 5, 6, but is there any music like the entire song from that period and you maybe haven't heard it in years, but you could just off the top of your head?
I go back to a lot of the music that I listened to when I was like way younger because it brings me nostalgic vibes. My dad loved American Idiot, that album by Green Day, and he used to play that in the car nonstop. And honestly, I think that album like ingrained into me like my love of listening to full albums because a lot of people don't like they've lost the appreciation for listening to an album. They only pick out like their favorite singles. When in reality, like the best way to listen to music to me, hands down, is to put on an album, listen to the whole thing, and hear where an artist is at. Like hear them basically tell a story from their life or like at what point of time they're in or what stage of their life they're in.
Do you have different, I guess, for different periods in your life, different albums that you kind of consider the soundtrack to that period?
I never thought about it, but yeah, probably. Like when I was a kid, definitely like American Idiot. When I was in middle school, I was like late middle school, early high school is like when I really started getting into hip hop a little bit. And it was through Eminem, like so many other white people back in the day. Fucking like the Marshall Mathers LP. I was obsessed with that album. That album is incredible. It holds a very special place in my heart. And then as I've gotten older, like the last couple years, Good Kid, Mad City is like the album by Kendrick Lamar when I was in high school that really broke me into like being more of a fucking, artsy kind of fucking, I just love music and I need to listen to so much more now. Like that album just expanded so many things for me, helped to expand my worldview.
One of the things that you keep talking about is just your dad. Like, I get when you were going through that period in your teens, were your folks aware of, I guess, like your mental health, your mental state?
Probably not. No. My mom and dad got divorced when I was like 7 years old. So they like my dad lived for the longest time in Des Moines, about 45 minutes away from me. By the time I was in high school, he lived in Rock Island, which was 3 hours away from me. So I only saw him probably like 5 or 6 times a year, like where we go down, like, and just hang out there for like a week or two, or maybe like some like 4 or 5 days. So I don't really think he was aware of just how bad into it I was. And my mom, as I stated previously, when she was a single mother, her way of showing affection was bringing in as much money as possible into the house. She never wanted me or my brother to feel like that we were struggling. And we never really did, I'd say, for the most part. I think she succeeded to the cost of her own sanity and well-being and physical health, because she worked 15, 16-hour days every day for years.
Did you feel like when you were seeing your dad that it didn't shine through quite as much? Like the depression, like, or was it just like he wasn't seeing you, so he didn't notice anything being
Well, he
particularly
wouldn't know.
different?
Like fucking, he'd only ever just see me there, and like whenever we were there, we just listened to music together. That was like something like me and my dad have always done. Is like we just kind of sit in a room and like he just show me new music that like because he's like a fucking encyclopedia for music from like the '60s through like the 2000s, just anything he can just recall off the top of his head. And he still shows me new stuff today. Like I'm 26 years old, he'll still whip out a song like in the recesses of his fucking memory bank. That's somehow like that he hasn't shown me yet.
Though, does he play music himself?
No, that's the funny thing. Like my dad's never really been musically talented. Neither have I. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I love art. I love art so much. I love reading. I love listening to music, playing video games, watching movies, just anything. I think art is the purest form of human expression, and it truly enriches your life, like when you partake in it. But yeah, it's like I'm like the ultimate, what is it, like the artistic cuck? Because I can't do it myself. I genuinely, I can't. I've got no talent, sadly, regards to fucking playing music or fucking writing a story.
See, now, you and I differ on this because I actually think that what you do, like as far as the streams, as far as the content that you create, I do think that is an art form. I do think that is something that people will watch it and they will reflect whatever they want to about this topic. They will see that reflection, they will react to it. And sometimes it's just being an asshole to you, and sometimes it's really enjoying that. But I mean, is that not an expression of art?
It is for sure. It's just not the kind I've always wanted to make. Like, dude, I wish I was musically talented. Like if I could shred a fucking guitar or play a nice bass, just drop some great bass lines. Oh, that'd be beautiful.
If you could have ever created one piece of music, what would it be? If you like, this was just, you only get one thing, but it is yours for the rest of eternity. You made this. What is it?
I'm probably making like a fucking disgusting 18-minute progressive rock anthem a la Close to the Edge or like Dogs, because those are like two of my favorite songs of all time. I loved I've said Dogs by Pink Floyd, for those who are unaware. I think it's the greatest song ever recorded by man. I think it's phenomenal. It's a fucking 15-minute track and it feels like 3.
Can I tell you, I'm not familiar with it. Like, what is it that you like so much about it?
It's everything about it. It's off of their album Animals. It's a concept record where they use like different animals, also obviously inspired by George Orwell's Animal Farm, like where they use animals as a way of like describing people and like their roles within society. So a dog is a businessman, like an everyday working businessman. And the song is like about how people are ruthless in like a business environment and climbing their way to the top in tearing down others. And basically the way that people, in order to obtain success, will completely sell out their morals and their soul. It's fucking, and it's also just has some of the most gorgeous guitar playing you've ever heard from David Gilmour. He just has like this, in the song, there's like this refrain with just these soaring guitar melodies like going, just like feels like it's flying over you. And it's just fucking unbelievable.
Do you believe that the message there about, I guess in the business world and the corporate world, that's what
Absolutely.
The reality is?
I think absolutely. I feel like when I am making a lot of decisions, like in regards to my career and a bunch of other things, it's like, if someone said to me, "You sold out," I'll be, yeah, I did, and I'm happy. Yeah, I sold out, 100%. I'm still giving you like my authentic self. I'm not compromising who I am as a person, but at the end of the day, I have rules to adhere to for the company I work for money. Ergo, I sold out. So in some small way, like I compromised myself, but to me, it's to an acceptable amount. But like, especially in like a business setting, like I don't know, like fucking CEOs or just like you see the way upper management works to, what's the word I'm looking for, to exploit the employee at every single level. Like if you work at middle management, your goal is basically to extract as much value out of a worker as possible while paying them as little as possible. Is that by doing that, are you not in some way compromising your own morals?
So is this the kind of shit you were thinking about when you were 14 and depressed and just playing a shitload of Overwatch?
I've been told all of my entire life, whenever I talk to an adult, you are a old soul. And I don't know, in a lot of ways, I think that's true. I think in a lot of ways it's untrue because, like, I don't know, if you talk to me for long enough, I'm not the most mature. I'm a jokester. I'm a fucking memer. I make some jokes here or there. Well, yeah, I've had some very existential thoughts for a long time. I was thinking about the big picture questions, like, why am I doing anything? What do I exist for? Is there even a reason to live? What is the purpose behind living? Like, all that shit is the shit like that I've been dealing with, and that's the shit that had a stranglehold on me for years when I was, especially in high school, in that really depressive state.
I think that that's more prevalent than we like to pretend it is, because I mean, I definitely remember having, conversations with myself that I just couldn't come to an answer with, and that was scary, and that was upsetting, and that made me feel fairly hopeless, and like I would distract myself, but the thoughts are still kind of there in the back of your head. Is that sort of what you were doing, just trying to distract yourself from them, but not really being able to, I guess, satisfy what you needed?
For sure. 100%. Like, I did that by, like I said, playing an unhealthy amount of Overwatch, by, just listening to maybe some music to try to distract myself, playing sports. But even then, like, by the time I was in high school, because, like, grades were tied to if you could play sports or not, like, I just cared so little about school. I never even got to really play sports anymore. So that kind of got taken away from me, sadly. And then I'm just kind of sitting there, like, in your own thoughts. And eventually, like, I'm not going to lie, like, fucking, I've talked to you about this plenty of times before. When I was 17 or 18, like, right around then, I started watching the show BoJack Horseman. And that show completely, like, changed, like, everything about how I thought about myself, about, like, mental health in general, about, like, the questions I was asking myself. And, it changed everything for me. It helped me honestly start the process of getting my mental right.
It's really interesting how that show, which I remember watching it, and the first few episodes are kind of, it's sort of,
it starts off as like a Family Guy-esque kind of thing.
Yeah,
there's
more animals.
Gags. Yeah, with animals.
And then by the end of it, I mean, I saw that in my 20s, and just it had a very similar, not the exact same effect, because I think that the time, this goes back to art, but when you watch something is just as important as what you're actually watching and the person you are at that time and the mental state that you're in. And I think what I was getting was different. So I'm curious what it was about that show in particular that really like that. I'm not talking about like resonated with you. I'm talking about changed you from somebody that was unmotivated and depressed and, like 17, 18.
Well, the thing is,
you don't know what
like,
the fuck is coming.
No. The thing is with that show is I think one of the reasons why, like, it grabbed my attention and resonated with me so much is because my entire life, the adult male role models in my family, especially on my dad's side, were very flawed individuals, very deeply flawed people. And a lot of them, I believe, to this day, like, still good at heart. But, like, they went through unspeakably horrible things, and they had to deal with the baggage of that and try to pick up the pieces and live life after that. And BoJack reminded me of pieces of my dad, of my uncles in so many different ways. So, like, I had that, like, in the background. And I remember there was a line, and it's funnily enough by a character's name is Cuddly Whiskers. He's a hamster in the show. He was like a TV executive, and like his show bombed or whatever. And like the main characters are going to go visit with him, and he's finally like he's happy, like he's achieved happiness, he's achieved inner peace. And then it's like, oh, don't you think it's selfish that you just kind of ran away like that? And he's like, he basically says, at some point you need to admit to yourself how miserable you truly are. And I'm like, oh my God, like that started it. And I was just like, that's fucking such a profound statement. Like, you need to identify it. Cause like, it's also just like the idea of if you're in a horrible situation, if you're truly miserable, like it's up to you. It's up to you to take that personal responsibility to find a way to make a path towards happiness. Even if like you can only do it a little bit at a time. It's like, are you really just going to sit around your entire life being miserable? Like, and he followed up that line with, sometimes you need to take responsibility for your own happiness. And that to me is one of the most profound things I've ever heard in any piece of fiction ever. I'm like, because that it clicked with me. That made so much sense.
What does that line mean to you? If you could, if like, because sometimes, I mean, it can be hard to extrapolate on these things that just feel so true. But like, what I guess, what does that, what, how did that impact your behavior? Like, what did
Because
that
to me,
do?
like when I hear you need to sometimes you have to take responsibility for your own happiness, it's because you're miserable. You've identified that you are miserable. There's a lot of things in life that you can't control, and there's a lot of like circumstances that put you in the situations that you live in day to day. But are you going to sit around and be a slave to fate, like some kind of fate? Like, instead, like, no, like there's aspects of your life that you can control, like how you respond to certain things that happen to you afterwards. And even if like the changes are minor, as long as you're taking like the next step that leads to you eventually being happy, that's what matters.
What was the next step for you?
Honestly, like around that time, it would have been getting more involved in like communities online, like talking about sports, eventually leading me to joining the Pesky Report and getting in front of a microphone and fucking just started to do this all the time because I knew this is what I wanted to do.
So you were 18 when you started. So so you graduated high school, right? And then what happens after that?
A whole bunch of nothing. I mean, I was fucking, I worked multiple places, actually. I worked at Walmart for a bit. I worked at a Burger King for a little bit. Then I worked at Casey's, which is a fast food place. No, sorry, a gas station, which doubles as a pizza place. I worked at that for 2 years. And then I moved to my dad's place in Clinton because I wanted to make up for some lost time with him. And I hung out with him for a while. And I worked at a Burger King for about 6 months again. God, that sucked. And then I worked 2 years, 2.5 years, almost 3 years at a pawn shop. And then like that led me to where I am today, where I moved back here last year to my hometown.
Now, when you moved back in with your dad, was it like, how was that? Was that an adjustment? Because if you were only seeing him like 6 times a year, there's a big difference between visiting somebody as a kid and then living with them as an adult. What was that like for you?
It was nice. I was able to make up some lost time. I was able to hang out with him. My dad's always just as happy when I'm around for the most part. There's some things where, like, I don't know, like I've always felt like there was like an underlying tension because my dad's always been like a big, like Gen X boomer kind of mindset, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Yeah, he's a very, very hard worker. Like he owns a house now, and like it took a culmination of 40 years of hard work and torture basically for him to get to that point. So like I always had this underlying feeling of like that he just didn't respect like what job I was doing because he's probably just like, it's like, oh wow, I work at a fucking pawn shop, good for you.
Well, I mean, it's so interesting though, because like you talk about not having the grades to be able to play sports, but you have one conversation with you. Like you're obviously someone who's very well read. You're somebody with an extensive vocabulary. You take in information and it resonates with you very quickly. Was it just that you just weren't motivated at all to follow that path?
I didn't give a fuck. Thing is like, I don't know, like because when you have especially unregulated access to the internet as a young kid, you quickly realize how worthless school is in the grand scheme of things, especially when you're in high school. And like I said, I was going through like a lot of things where like a lot of the thoughts I was having, which it was like that's the shit that like if you don't settle it properly, it leads to you killing yourself. So fucking like I was dealing with that. I had to get my own mental right before I could even think about giving a fuck about school. So yeah, I mean, I had no motivation for it. I had motivation for the things I was passionate about. I'm also very sure I have undiagnosed ADHD. I'm pretty sure that's also a part of it. If I had to guess, like, because it's just like, if I'm not, if I don't get motivation or stimulation from like the task, I just don't, I just won't do it. My brain will not allow me to do it.
What were the first of the sports communities that you joined?
Patriots. I was joined a Patriots community. It's a place I'm still in today, like the DMs there today. It's called Pat's Chat. It's the main head honchos there, two dudes. One is Bryson. His name is Bryson NFL on Twitter. Great guy. Like he and LB, he's the other guy. They welcomed me into that community like with open arms, and like for years I just kind of like I lurked, then I gained confidence. I started becoming a more active participant. And then, funnily enough, like my first content I ever made, like videos and shit, was Patriots content. It just I was just very bad at the time, and it got no traction because I was horrifically bad. I didn't know how to speak with confidence in front of a microphone yet.
What were these? So I actually didn't know about this. So I worked with you on the Pesky Report doing baseball. I always knew that you were like more of a football first, at least initially, person. I didn't realize that you had actually started doing it. Like what were your earliest attempts like?
My earliest attempts were I've always said before that one of my biggest influences in all of sports media is a guy named Steve Dangle. He does hockey content, specifically for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He has a reaction video after every single Leafs game. It's called LFR, Leafs Fan Reaction. So basically I did that, but for Patriots games. I did a Patriots fan reaction, and they were bad. They were horrible videos. So bad. Just
so like how do you define them? Like, listen, I have watched videos of myself from years before, and it's not pretty. But what is it like that you would pinpoint that like you were just doing wrong?
It's just the way I spoke. I didn't speak with enough conviction. I just kind of spoke like it was like a casual hangout session, as opposed to I'm speaking like with a directive, like I'm trying to get my point out to somebody. Like it's pointless yapping versus directed yapping.
How long were you doing that for?
About a year.
So you were able to keep doing it. Like I've found that the thing that separates people, especially in sports podcasting, sports social media, is just consistency, just continuing to do it. I don't
have to keep doing it.
Yeah, but I don't think most people, if they're doing something that isn't getting much of an audience, it's very hard to keep motivated to continue doing that. So a full year is a long time to be doing that. When you did stop, what was the reason for that, and where did you go to from that?
I just felt like honestly, it is like what you were talking about. Like, just they didn't get really any reaction or anything. I watched them back, and even at the time, I didn't think they were especially great. So then, like, I just kind of like stopped, and then like I went to like just live tweeting. Like, I live tweeted Red Sox games for like half a season until Pesky Report found me, because I think Bailey saw my tweets and she thought that I had good takes, and then that got me onto that, and then that's where I did that. I did Pesky Report for the rest of that season, and then the season after that. And obviously we broke off, did Pod by the River for a year.
Going back though, I guess during this period, is the depression getting better? Is it still sort of there in the background? Like where's your mental state at?
It's definitely better. It's just one of those things where like I was still kind of aimless because I was just working. Like I was working, I'd come home, I'd play games, and then I'd do some shit on Twitter. And that was about it. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And it's just like, I didn't hate where my life was at. I didn't hate myself either, really, at the time. It was like, I felt like I was doing fine. Working at the pawn shop really is like what helped unlock the current form of myself. Like I'd say the best version of myself. I always had like a little bit of social anxiety. And I will tell you, working at a pawn shop kills that shit really fast. Like, it makes you realize, like, how irrelevant a lot of your normal social issues are.
How do you mean extrapolate on that?
Because, how are you gonna, like, when you're nervous, like, talking to people, that gets obliterated when multiple times a day someone is coming in to pawn off a insane valuable to pay their, like, the light bill. And you got to tell them that that's not even going to be close to like the amount that like you need. Like you need way more than that fucking like ring or whatever. Or telling someone that like has like a cherished family heirloom that the diamonds in it are fake.
Oh boy, that's
like you have a lot of uncomfortable conversations. The thing is, when like pawn shops get a bad rap, I will say the customer base is like very, very often just good people who are very down on their luck. and it sucks. And like, obviously, like there's some like that come in to get drug money, and you just feel bad for them because it's so fucking obvious. And people always say like pawn shops taking stolen shit. Mine didn't. Maybe like there's probably maybe some other shadier ones that do. But at my pawn shop, like it's very obvious when someone is selling stolen shit. 90% of the time, it's very, very obvious.
What is obvious about it, and then what is the procedure? Do you call the police? Like how does that work?
It depends. It depends. I remember one I found. There was a guy who came in. He had a box that usually contains a single security camera. There was 4 security cameras stacked up in it, like in this one box, like poking out. And I'm like, what? Like, so no. Like, what do you mean? There's no way I'm taking this. Like, this is the most stolen thing I've ever. Plus, it's also the aura that people give off. Like because they know they're doing something wrong. So like they're kind of like just a little more shifty than normal. Well, yeah, it's just like, yeah, man, I'm not fucking taking this. What are you talking about?
Would you say that you have a good aura detector, or I guess some would call that?
I think so. I think my vibe detector, at least in person, is extremely good.
Yeah, well, I mean, online it's sort of like you're limited to someone's text and how someone writes, and what they mean are usually very different things, which actually brings me into something that I'm really curious about here. So, you alluded to a podcast that you were on, the Pesky Report.
Yeah.
What is the Pesky Report, and how did you end up on there?
Pesky Report is still running a Red Sox podcast, and at the time, it was ran by a guy named Brad Chandler, and he was doing the show with a cavalcade of people. Ryan Brady was there. Love Brady. He's the man. Still talk to him today, obviously. Jeff Wax. Shout out Jeff Wax. He was on the Pesky Report. We overlapped, I think, for a episode. He didn't like me. He never really said that to me on the show. He didn't really confront me about it. I found out secondhand via Brad that Jeff Wax didn't like me. He thought I was too vocal, too flagrant. At the time. That's still me, like, with not my full confidence yet.
That's so funny. Like, how, I guess, as somebody who hasn't done this a lot, like, how do you react to finding out that somebody that's on the show with you doesn't like working with you?
That's the same way I've reacted to most times. People don't like me. Like, yeah, fuck them. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, it is funny because, like, I went through a lot of my life with, like, some social anxiety, but I've always, like, for the most part, down at my core, liked who I am as a person. Like, it's been rare times where, like, I genuinely hated who I was and what I was doing.
What is it that you like about yourself? Because I think that people are really good at identifying the things that they would change. So what is it that you have that you're cool with? Even back then, even before you could objectively.
I've always thought I was like funny. I've always thought that like I was witty and passionate about the things that I care about, and I can talk like and be informed about the things that I care about. And I'd say that's probably the most of it. And then like my issues, like I hated like how like like this insecurity I get in certain social situations, or fucking just like again the aimless hopelessness of just not knowing what to do and like or why I should be doing it.
Did you see Pesky Report when you joined it as like taking the next step, or was it just this looks fun? Really?
I mean, yeah, I thought it was I thought it's both. Because I thought it was taking a next step, because like it's a next step from nothing. I was doing nothing in terms of like progressing what could be a career in my eyes. Like to me, it was a way for me to consistently get reps in and talk in front of a microphone and talk in front of a camera and talk to people.
Was this something that you had like actually like, okay, this is the plan, or was it just like an instinctual thing?
Well, it was sporadic because they just invited me out of nowhere. I mean, because I think Brad invited me on the show. It's like, oh, do you want to come on? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I want to come on. And I remember like, cause the first time like I was like out of town because Brad like hit me up, was like, oh, you want to come on this episode? I'm like, yeah. And fucking, I couldn't get onto it. And he's like, oh, I just did it myself. And I'm like, fuck, like, God damn it. Like I missed out the chance to do something cool. And he's like, no, I'll just have you on the next episode. I'm like, oh, okay.
So they were like, okay, it wasn't actually, you didn't miss an opportunity here.
No. And like, yeah, he had me on and like, shout out to, I mean, hey, Brad, he saw something within me because he thought I did a really good job on the one episode. And he's like, you just want to come on as much as you want, like whenever possible. I'm like, yes, absolutely. And basically it was me, him, and Brady as the core cast for the rest of that year.
Which season was that?
I believe it was 2021. I came on
Oh,
2021 just before the trade deadline.
because I remember that's around when I joined. I remember recording.
You joined shortly after, I believe.
I think I recorded with you the day that Kyle Schwarber was traded, which was the only time. And I've been doing baseball podcasting for 4 years now. That's the only time I've been live when a trade happened that actually involved the Red Sox.
Yeah, you definitely popped on a couple episodes, but I know 90% of them, it was me, Brady, and fucking Brad.
Yeah, no, I remember that season, and then 2022. So 2022, we were on the same show together. It was me,
Yep.
you, and Brandon Brewer, and it was kind of like they had divided the show into the weekday group and the weekend group, and I think we were the weekend group, right? We were the Sunday group.
Yes, we were.
So before we get into that, though, I do want to ask you about Red Sox Twitter, because that was really, I think, the rise of Hogdale really started in Red Sox Twitter. And how, to people that are listening to this that are like our parents or something like that, how would you describe Red Sox Twitter? What is this place?
Red Sox Twitter is a very funny environment where it's a collection of some of the brightest, most intelligent baseball fans that you can find, and the collective of the most degenerate, knuckle-scraping bozos you've ever seen in your entire life. And you're wondering like how they even have the intelligence to type on a computer, let alone formulate a fucking take about baseball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just accurate. I mean, most of my time on Red Sox Twitter, I mean, dude, like I was a small account for so long, for such a long time. I didn't get 1,000 followers until like 2022. Like genuinely, I was sitting like fucking like an entire season one of Pesky Report. I was like between 500 and 800 followers, and then like I hit 5,000 within this last calendar year, and then like now I'm at 40,000. Things snowballed so fast.
It's funny how that happens when it's just like the growth just kind of comes. But there's a second part of Red Sox Twitter, and that's what I would consider to be the podcast economy. Because as I see this, you have one podcast that is the big national one, and that's Section 10.
Yep.
And then you have all of the other ones, which are kind of either people that just for whatever reason don't like Section 10, or you're their second show. You're okay, I need more baseball content for this week. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I think that's a completely fair assessment.
So you're in that economy, and you know that you're getting the scraps of another thing. But I remember in 2022, we weren't looking at it that way. We were just trying to get as many eyes on us as we could, and we were just trying to do a good show every week and have guests that people actually wanted to see. And it did feel like we were accomplishing something. It really did. But then we left the show. And we started Pod by the River. And this is, I swear I will be removing myself from it, but this really is where our paths cross in all of this. What was Pod by the River? What is Pod by the River, I guess?
Pod by the River is the splinter show that split off from Pesky Report because, Ed and all of us really had a couple like disagreements with how Brad was running things at the time. So we made the very hard decision to start off and do everything from scratch. And at the time, it was a massive risk because Pesky Report got very, very close to what I'd say is like the equivalent to getting mainstream support. Like that show was very close to getting like a deal with a site called Fansided, which had a shit ton of followers, would have been a huge boost. But we thought like that situation was a bit mishandled, which caused some fucking underlying resentment, which led to us splintering off.
That is, you are far, if you were more academically inclined, you would have been a very good lawyer. That's pretty much what happened. So we started doing Pod by the River, and we did it for, I think it was a year. And then something else happened. You started working on something entirely by yourself. It wasn't with me or Brady. It wasn't with anybody else. What happened?
Yeah, in 2024, I started streaming. I started streaming every single Red Sox game. I made the decision, because I had just moved from my dad's place back home. I remember at the time, I was saving for a car. And then instead, I was like, you know what? What if instead of using it for a car, because my car was a fucking piece of shit at the time, instead of saving for a car, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to get fiber internet because I need that to stream, and I was unable to get that at my dad's place. And I'm going to stream every single Red Sox game. I'm going to put a genuine effort into this. I'm going to try to fucking get a foothold here because no one was doing streams like for Red Sox games specifically. I did not invent the concept. Joe's McFly had been doing it for like Yankee games for a while at that point. And same deal, like again, one of my big influences, Steve Dangle. He does that for some Toronto Maple Leafs games. Not all of them, but some of them. So I was like, why not do that myself? No one's doing it in the Red Sox space. I had identified to myself, I'm never going to be the number one Red Sox podcast. Section 10 is unbeatable in that regard. So I need a way to get my name out there to people that aren't just niche Red Sox fans. Because I was known in the Red Sox community at that point, like through the Pesky Report. Like I had ties. Jared Carrabis was aware of my existence, which I always thought was insane. Like, remember, he dropped me a follow on Twitter in like late 2023, and I was one of the happiest moments of my entire life because I'm like,
who is Jared Carrabis for people that aren't following?
I mean, if you have any
Twitter.
inkling about baseball, you know who Jared Carrabis is. He's the biggest personality, individual personality in terms of baseball, podcasting, broadcasting in general. The most well-known Red Sox fan probably on the planet. So, like, I remember he followed me back in 2023, and I'm like, man, like, this guy thinks I'm doing a good job. Like, he DM'd me, thought I was doing a good job, and told me to keep going. And, like, yeah, I mean, him following me there started, like, just a relationship between me and him where he's just always been, like, a mentor figure. He's always been there in the background, just kind of silently giving me encouragement, helping me along. To this day, I mean, I text him semi-frequently, like whenever like I need a piece of advice or something. Like he's always there for me.
So you got that support with the stream, but how did the stream go the first year? Like how?
Oh, awful.
You were still podcasting, but you obviously
the thing is,
had something else.
I started the year, and by the end of the year, I had 200 followers, and I was very happy with those 200 followers. I have a community of semi-regulars. I think on my best show of the year, I averaged like 30 viewers, like on my absolute peak. But for a good chunk of those games, there was like 5 people in there. And like if I had like a 10 people in a stream for the entire time, I was thrilled because I'm like, hey, we had a great stream today. And then it was 2025 this year, this last season, where shit started to get crazy. I had Jared on at some point early in the year. That helped give me a boost. And like I remember I hit 1,000 followers like by mid-season. And then by the end of the year, I was at 2,000 followers. And I was so fucking happy. I was so excited. And I'm like, I have a community here. I'm actually seeing a little bit of money. It's not a lot, but I'm seeing money from doing content, which had never happened before. It's the most encouraging thing ever. I'm like, I don't have enough to make a living yet, but if I keep doing this, I will be able to. Like, if I can keep growing along this line, then I will.
No, you had the money coming in from this, but you were working a day job also, and you had to really... You made the decision, and you're talking about this, you alluded to this a little bit with the car and everything, but you made the decision to make the streaming your focus rather than whatever your day job was.
Because I knew this is what I wanted to do.
No, I know that, but how, I guess, did you... how did you motivate yourself to be doing the day job and also that at night you come home and it might be a game that's in a rain delay and you're doing it for 6 hours or something? Like how do you go about? How did that happen?
It's just one of those things where obviously, like I said, the first year, all I did was the streaming because I'd saved up money. By the end of that year, though, I was like as broke as I had ever been. I had no money. So like the second year, I'm like, I really don't want to go through that again. I don't want to be that broke again where like literally I have fucking nothing. So I'm like, I got a job, but like the job I got was specifically, I was like, hey, because I worked there for the off season, which was 6 months. And after that 6 months is up, I saved a little bit of money. I'm like, hey, so here's the deal. I stream Red Sox games and I'm going to quit if you don't work around my schedule because this is what I actually care about, and this is just to give me a bit of money. And they're like, and the place I worked with, I'd say it was, I wouldn't say it's kindness. It's more they needed literally anyone there to work because the work that I did was to help like dependent adults. People were not exactly signing up for that job. It's they're always help wanted there. So they acquiesced. They worked around my schedule. So I was able to do a semi full-time job while also calling games. And dude, it is the most exhausting thing I've ever done in my entire fucking life. Oh my God, I had no time off for 6 months. It was absurd because there's a Red Sox game on every day. There's 162 games in a baseball season.
Yeah, and you were podcasting too.
And I was podcasting. So the longest day I'd have is if it's the end of the series, like on a weekday where like for whatever reason I didn't give myself the day off to accommodate it. So like maybe it'd be like a 6 o'clock game because like I usually get off at 4. So like if a game started at 6, like I can work that day as well. So I'd get up, I'd be at work by 9, but I was awake at 8. So and then I get off at 4, I'd get home, I'd have exactly an hour before the stream started, which is not enough time to do anything. I'd have something to eat. Then I'd stream for 3 hours, because that's usually how long a game would go. And then I'd do a podcast at the very end of that for another hour. So I was basically pulling like a fucking 14-hour day, like 14, 15-hour day on like the worst of it. And there's a bunch of other days where I'm pulling a fucking 11-hour day or 12-hour day. Constantly. No fucking days off, basically. Because even on my off days, I'm still calling a game.
What are you telling yourself to keep going? Because you took breaks here and there, but it was only because you either had to or there were really, it was like a concert or something like that. Like that's a lot. That's gonna burn people out. How did you continue to motivate yourself?
I didn't burn myself out because I have so much fun streaming. Like the act of doing streaming doesn't feel like work to me for the most part. The only times it really felt like a chore is if it was like a back-to-back, but both games sucked. Like if one game was good and the second game was shit, I could still probably be fine. But if it's like back-to-back shit games, it's like, fuck me, this is horrible. And it makes for such bad content too. The second year was so much easier to do streaming as well, just because like I had more people. Usually, like on my worst days, I was still averaging at least 20 people, as opposed to averaging fucking 2 on my worst days in my first season.
I remember watching your stream pretty early on in the day of it, and liking it. But you're right, it felt like there weren't that many people there. Like they'd have 5 or 6 at a time, but then it would drop to 2. And I just remember thinking, he's still talking like as if like there's like a crowded auditorium here. And then I remember, like I wasn't tuning in everything that you were doing, but I remember getting a message from Ian Kundle from Sox Prospects. And Ian, for those not familiar,
the man
is he very good guy, but also just has a really impressive eye for baseball talent. Really, really knows not just like what he's talking about, but like also like how to articulate it in a way that anybody can understand it. And I remember getting a DM from him that was basically like, he has really good command of his audience and is really interesting. He's fantastic. And it's awesome that you're doing a podcast with him that's just kind of letting him riff. And then it was like right after you got picked up from Barstool, and I sent him something to the extent of, hey, I guess the scouting talent isn't just for baseball players. And he was like, he was like, sometimes it's so obvious that you don't really need to have any specialization, which I thought was a very on brand comment on it. But that was sort of when I started realizing, because I always thought you were good, but it was when I started realizing that like, oh no, but like it's very obvious to other people that actually like have an eye for this stuff. Like this isn't just me.
And the hardest thing about this industry is getting started. It's getting discovered. Like, dude, you might make the best content ever, but like if people don't see it, then you can't. Then what are you going to do? You can't grow. All you can do is just continue to improve and hope that the right people see your content. And I was fortunate and lucky enough that did happen to me. Is that like the people who are in the Red Sox community, especially at the highest end, are very dialed in onto like what everyone is doing. I've told this to, like I said, Jared Carrabis before, like fucking, and like he always says like you did that, and like yeah, like I put the work in, but like having a guy like him boost me and like within this year, like he gave me like a vote for like their show's MVP. So like my voice was getting heard on every single episode of Section 10, basically. And like just putting me in the consciousness of Red Sox fans, coming on to my stream and just obliterating all of my highest numbers ever by a shit ton and giving me that kind of boost as well. And just always being encouraging. He didn't have to do that. He could have said like, oh, you're like who? Who are you? And why are you talking to me? Like, but no, but instead he chooses actively still to be one of the most down-to-earth, supportive, phenomenal people ever. I owe so much of my career to him. And I don't know if I'll ever truly be able to convey how grateful I am to him as a person.
I think that that's something that it's very easy in Jared's space to say, you did this. And it's the right thing to say. It's the humble thing to say. But there is a reality to half of the battle is just attention. It's just getting that spotlight on you.
I think I would have gotten here where I'm at right now eventually without any of their help. It just would have taken way longer. Like way, way long. I think like I would have been doing the stream for maybe 3 or 4 years before I really had the foothold that I had in the community. Like by this year. Like, dude, like I need to, like, the exponential growth I had is, I need to point out, like I said, 2021 is when I first started podcasting. I looked at the Wayback Machine here. In 2023, I had 927 followers on Twitter.
How many do you have now?
That is over 2 years of podcasting. And I hadn't even hit 1,000 followers yet. I have 40,000 now. At the beginning of 2025, I had like 6,000. Like 5,000 or 6,000. That's it. It's just, I try to tell everyone, because I've had a couple people reach out to me like, what's your advice? Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You keep doing it. The shit that you're passionate about and the content that you make, you need to do it every day. You need to do it as much as possible. You got, be consistent, because people will eventually gravitate towards your consistency. And, you hope that like the correct people see it and can boost you and can boost your profile as well. But you are not going to get better at something unless you're doing it constantly. Whenever you're doing something for the first time, you're going to be horrible at it. That's how it works. Like you're never going to be amazing immediately. Picasso didn't fucking start out, drawing masterpieces. He drew scribbles when he was a fucking kid, just like the rest of us. You need to put the work in every single day. You got to continue to get better. You need to hone your craft.
Do you have something that you consider to be, because I mean, it's like your trajectory, it just from how you're articulating this has just been up. But were there like, what would you say your biggest setback was throughout all of this? And then we'll get to Barstool.
I mean, the biggest setback was the fan-sided deal fucking falling through. Like it was. Like Pesky Report. I felt like we were really getting somewhere at that time. And then, no.
So I'll let you in with this, because I was there for the meeting and it seemed like it was going okay. And then I left. And I just remember hearing from Brad that I stayed on for another hour with this guy and we just shot the shit. And he was awesome. And then the next day we found out that there wasn't a deal. And like a switch flipped with me with this, like, because it's like you said, we were so close. Like that felt like something. And it's so hard in this. We had Alex Spear on, I think, just before this. And Spear was a pretty major Boston Globe writer.
Absolutely.
And we'd had some players on. We'd had some coaches on. We were doing stuff that not everyone else was doing. I think more people are doing it now because every year a few more podcasts emerge and a couple of them stick and it gets a little bit more and more competitive. But we were at this point, it was like us and maybe 2 other podcasts getting all.
It was us. It was like Pod on Lansdowne. Not Another Sox podcast, I think, had kicked up at some point.
We were beating these guys pretty.
We were early, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, shit, dude. Like we've been doing it for a while. Like we're one of the Pesky Report still is one of the longer tenured Red Sox podcasts out there because most of them quit eventually because you lose heart.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is like when you're doing this, if you want this to be your career, you can't afford to lose heart. And if you're truly passionate about it, you won't, because like I remember like when I was younger and dumber, like I would always see like the maybe like YouTube channels like where these people like have like only a couple hundred subscribers, whatever. It's like, oh, why do they even fucking bother? It's because they love doing it. It's because you do want success, but they find genuine joy in doing what they do, and that is what matters more than anything. And you know, if the numbers come and the success comes, that's great. But at least like fucking, I'm doing something that makes me happy.
So you would say then going into 2025, you were feeling that genuine joy. You had gotten into a routine, you were growing. It wasn't exponentially yet, but you had definitely been experiencing growth, right?
100%. Like I said, like at the end of the first year, I was 200 followers, and I'd never been more happy to have 200 followers in my entire life. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then in the second year, opening day, I had a big boost without like really anybody because people like were just so excited about the Red Sox going into that year. So like I had like a big boost. I think I gained a couple hundred just in a couple of weeks. And like by the end of the month, I had already more than doubled like what my audience was. And like post that, like yeah, every stream just felt wonderful because I just have people to talk to. Half of the fun of streaming is talking with the community and talking with the people who are following you and engaging with you.
It's so funny though because you talk about like enjoying isolation, and yet I think a lot of your appeal is that there were like the videos of you flipping out on Twitter, which ultimately led to the big discovery. But a lot of it is more personal appeal, that it's a community and that you're a person that's actually communicating with these people.
I just try to make like my space like a place where people feel like welcome and happy. And I want them to have a good time. I want it to feel like you're watching the game with your friends. Like that's what I want to make it feel like. And the thing is too, is like, I'm not a soft guy in terms of like, I don't mind like if you make edgy jokes in the chat or whatever. Just be aware of the line. Like there's a line, and we all know, like the line is crossed when you see the thing that crosses the line. It's like an unspoken thing, and you say it's like, okay, you need to get the fuck out of here. Like other than that, like it's like as long as you're making jokes that are mostly within good faith, without malice or hate in your heart, then like it's fine.
Do you think that when you were a teenager, you would have been interested in watching the stream?
I think so. Yeah, if like someone like me was doing a stream.
Yeah.
For sure. Just because like I didn't have a lot of other fans to talk to around the time. There's not really many Boston sports fans in Iowa, as you can imagine. Hence is why I was reaching out to Twitter and the internet to find those connections.
Yeah, and you became a Sox fan because of your dad, who's from New England,
Rockland.
Right?
Yep.
Rockland, yeah. So it's so funny because there was Section 10 night in 2005. I think that was late. It was late August, and
2005 when I was 6 years old. I agree.
Oh, did I say 2005? I meant 1990. No, 2025.
Yep.
August, and you made the decision to come out to Boston for this. So, how planned was this in advance?
The second that Section 10 night was announced, I'm like, I'm getting down there because I didn't get a chance to go to the first edition of Section 10 night. And I'm like, if they do it again, I'm going to go down there.
So what is Section 10 night?
So Section 10 night is just a night like that Section 10, that podcast, the biggest Red Sox podcast in the world. They just have it basically as like a celebration of the community that they've built. And like, just all the fans come down of the pod come down and like that you can chat it up with fucking, Jared, Coley, Steve, and Tyler. So
this being the cast of Section 10.
Yeah, that being the cast of Section 10. So, like, yeah, I mean, I told Jared, like, yeah, I'm coming down. And he basically just allowed me to be a part of Section 10 night. He basically was just like, hey, man, come in and you could be a personality there. Like, fucking, they let me in early. I got to chat it up with the fellas a little bit. I talked with Coley about The Sopranos a little bit and about The Simpsons. That was nice. But the Boston trip really was, like, the best thing that's ever happened in my life ever. It's the happiest I maybe had ever been until literally like a month later when the next best thing that had ever happened to me happened. But like, because I went down there and I just expected it's like, maybe I'll get recognized a couple times or whatever. I don't know. I don't expect too much of a crazy reaction. I think there will be some people around Fenway who know who I am. Because the stream had been doing pretty well that year. Like, especially great compared to the last year. By the time it was Section 10 night, I had over 1,000 followers. I think I was closer to 2,000. I think like 1,700. I had plenty of clips do extremely well on Red Sox Twitter. I've been featured on WEI multiple times. Shout out to Jones and Keefe. They've always been fans of mine. They broadcasted my stuff out there as well, almost daily at one point. And I'm very grateful for them for doing that as well. And obviously, like, I was a Clark's Ketchup voter for Section 10 as well. So I got down there, and I remember, because I was with my mom and my grandma both wanted to come with, because they just were very curious to see, like, what kind of reception I would get. And they're also just two of my biggest supporters ever. Like, my mom she's in the chat, like, of all my streams, basically. Like, and even when I had 2 viewers, she was one of them. Always. So, like, I went down there, and I remember, like, the first time I got recognized, it was like, we just got into Fenway, we were getting tickets for the tour. And the dude selling the tickets was like, "Are you Hogdale?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, holy shit. I love your fucking videos, man." I'm like, "Thanks. That's awesome." And then, like, we pitter-pattered around for a bit. And then we did the tour, and, you know, like, nothing weird happened. Like, we did the entire tour. The tour ended, and we were, like, in the section where we were about to leave. The lady who led the tour came up to me like, "I follow you on Twitter." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "That's so cool." Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Awesome. Like, just DM me. I'll follow you back." And then it just kept getting more from that. Like, the first night, like, the first game I went to, first of all, because I met up with the Playtesty guys, a couple of them. I met up with Sammy, another podcast, another Red Sox podcast. I met up with Gordo and with Sammy. I met Alex, who's a member of a group chat that me and Ed are in, where we talk all the time. I met Lucille Burge, very nice lady as well. She's a big fan of mine on Red Sox Twitter. She's a gigantic account. And I remember, like, we took a group photo. I chatted up with those guys, and Sammy put, like, the photo up online. You know, just like, "Oh, hey, hanging out with Hogdale." First of all, the funniest thing is I've never gotten more, "You're holy shit, you're so tall, you're way taller than I thought I was." People thought I was built like Danny DeVito.
How tall are you, actually?
I'm 6'3". I'm 6'3" tall, and people thought I was built like fucking Danny DeVito, and it blows my mind. Oh, no, fat people aren't allowed to be tall, like, in fucking the big 2025. You know, I don't know what happened to the woke. They weren't covering for me. Like, what the fuck happened there? But yeah, Sammy had posted that up, and Rob Bradford, you know, who Ed, you know, very well, and, you know, Red Sox, longtime Red Sox, you know, radio adjacent guy, does a lot of shit, like, in Red Sox media. He saw that I was there, and he's like, "Tell Hogdale to come up to the booth. Will Fleming wants to meet him." And Will Fleming is the play-by-play announcer, the voice of the Boston Red Sox. This is a guy that I have so much respect for. I think he is the pinnacle of talking in front of a microphone, especially about the Red Sox. He is amazing. He's amazing at play-by-play. I strive to be half as good as him, like, genuinely. And that, like, he is a fan of me, and, like, he wanted to meet me and fucking just basically say I was doing a good job, meant the world to me. I met him. Mike Monaco, another announcer, was there too. I got to meet him. Total sweetheart. What a great guy. And, like, I met them. I remember, like, by day 3 when I was up there, because they invited me up all 3 days. The second day is when I actually appeared on the radio. Like, they had me go on the radio, which is insane. I was on the fucking airwaves.
How nervous were you about that beforehand?
So nervous.
Because your stream, you know, you have a colorful vocabulary, and
yeah, I wasn't worried about that. I do
remember Will telling you that he had to tell you about the. I don't know if he told you or he was just saying this on the radio.
He was just joking,
but he said that he needed to let you know about the FCC.
Yeah, he made a joke about that, but he never actually mentioned that to me at all. I mean, because Will knows that I'm not an idiot. He knows I'm a professional, as you know, as opposed to what many people think. And yeah, I mean, like, he allowed me on the radio. I was very nervous because I was on the Red Sox radio station, and honestly, because, like, I didn't want to step all over his toes, because I hate, like, when I'm listening to a game and the guest won't shut the fuck up and let the game breathe a little bit and, like, you know, let the guy cook. So, you know, it was just like I had a good time, and it brought me so much, like, that. And Section 10 night, so many people came up to me and said hi. I signed autographs the first time in my entire life. I took so many pictures. When I was at Fenway, it was the most jarring. I couldn't walk more than 5 steps, like, the entire day, without someone yelling out either, "Hey, Hogdale," or "What's up, Hogdale," or, like, shake my hand, take a picture with me. I mean, you were there with me for one of those days, and it was unbelievable.
How do you feel, like, in the moment? I guess, when you have these people, just because I think the thing that I remember more than anything else than that, aside from it being literally every minute, because you are something in your favor, you are quite noticeable.
Very noticeable. I was also wearing a shirt my mom bought me that said Hogdale on the back.
So, which is, I mean, it's basically like having a big arrow over your head, but all the same,
yes.
There were still a lot of people that were.
Because I'm a very large man. Yeah. I'm very easy to pick out of a crowd.
But these people were so thrilled to see you. They were just, like, it was either, can I have your autograph? Hey, I love your content. I mean, in the moment, how are you feeling about that? And then when you think back to it a few months later, like what?
I just remember the entire time. I was just so happy because it makes everything feel so real. It makes like all the people like who follow you online or say you're doing a good job. Like just meeting them in person is so much more fulfilling than any internet message ever could be. And it made me feel like I was so much closer to my goals than I thought I was before going on that trip. And I'm like, it just gave me more energy. And like, I just wanted to keep going and keep at it. It's like I said, like before, up until I got hired by Barstool, it was the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. I was so fucking happy.
Did you at this point think back to like when you were in high school and were just like, oh man, I did it?
I didn't feel like kinda. I can't feel like kinda I did it, but it's like I've saved like the big I did it is like finally like fucking I signed a contract. It's like I'm being paid to do this, and like
so let's get to the I did it then. Let's get to the I did it then, because we've gone through your origin story. This is like your Iron Man though. This is what happened. First round of the playoffs, Red Sox Yankees.
Yep. Biggest series of the year, obviously. It was my biggest stream of the year. Other than like Jared, like fucking, this when he came on.
Now, how many are you averaging at this point?
I want to say down the stretch, I was averaging like 50 to 60 people. And then for the playoff stream, it was like 150, 200 for the playoff stream, which is crazy. But like, yeah, it's a lot. It's 100%. It's a shit ton. And I was so energized, and like the Red Sox won late in the game. And like I let out like one of my best calls of the season, like where I was like, fucking like, oh, Chapman fucking strikes him out. Suck my dick.
I remember you yelling eat shit like twice.
Yeah, I definitely did say that.
I'll have to find. I'm gonna have to find that clip and like add it to this.
Yeah, and that clip, I'm like, because dude, like, I put that clip on. I'm like, I was just happy. Like the Red Sox won. I'm gonna put the clip up. I'm gonna go upstairs, go to bed, and get ready for work tomorrow morning.
And this was very routine for you. You were posting.
Yeah.
This wasn't the first time you had posted a clip of you screaming profanities after something big happened.
No.
Like, you get a few of these a game, I would say.
100%. Like, I always made sure to get my shit out there every single stream. But, like, yeah, I mean, so I had that out, and then I went upstairs, and, like, I was checking Twitter. Clip was going nuclear on Twitter. And I'd also recently started posting to Instagram, and thank God I did, because I checked over on Instagram where the call was really circulated, and I had a DM from the president of Barstool, Dave Portnoy. Now, I didn't even open the DM yet, and it's like one of those, like, if you can, like, feel the winds of fate change. Like, I felt my life changing. I'm like, something's about to happen. Like, something big's about to happen. And I remember I opened it up. And he's like,
how long did it take for you to open it? Like, did you have to, like, you kind of just stare at it for a bit, or were you just like, okay, I just
it was an extra second. It was an extra second, and I went in on it, and like he basically just said like, hey, like you did an amazing job. The people calling the games or reacting to the games in New York are doing a shitty job. How would you like to come up and basically do what you do, but in New York and like with a bunch of our guys? And I said yes, obviously. And like literally like a minute later, he's like, okay, cool. I'm hooking you up with a travel agent. I'll hook you up with a bunch of other people. How soon can you be on a flight to New York? And I'm like, as soon as you need me. He's like, how about fucking 6 a.m. tomorrow morning? I'm like, yes, sir.
So, okay. As far as like what, first of all, this was like pretty late at night, right?
Yeah. Like 11 p.m., 10:30, 11 p.m.
Where was the nearest airport for you?
That'd be Des Moines International Airport. It's about 45 minutes away from me.
So did you just like wake up because you live with your family? Did you just like wake
I woke my
anybody
mom
up?
up.
Yeah.
At first I told her what I was feeling, which is like, I think things are going to go crazy here. I think things are about to change. And like Dave sent me that, and I told her like they want me to go to New York.
How did your mom react?
She was so happy for me. She was just so happy, and she's like, oh, of course I'll drive you to the airport tomorrow morning. Like, yeah, of course. This is everything you've been working towards.
That's gotta be like that's so. I can't imagine just like even the pride that she was feeling for that.
Like, she's been there supporting me from day one, and like Dave like messaged me that, and I'm like, if this goes well, like he might hire me, and they offered me the contract the day I got there. Like fucking they handed me a paper. It's like, oh hey, fucking here you go. Here's an honorary contract offer, but it is a real contract offer. We'll send you the real thing in a couple weeks.
I mean.
I remember
I remember the video. There was a video when you got there of you. You had like your bag, and I just remember.
I was so fucking tired.
I just remember you going, "Hey, pretty nice, pretty sweet place you've got here."
Yeah, that was funny. I'm funny. I cracked myself up, honestly.
Just like the whole. I mean, it was kind of like though, like I'd never seen anything like this. Like you were being followed with a camera. They were just like they had you being introduced to Mike Mutnansky. They had you being introduced to all the Yankee guys.
Yep, I met Marty Mush, Hubs. I met Rico Bosco. I like Rico Bosco. I hope I get to talk with him more in the future, man. He's funny.
They had you on with Frank Patag, who's apparently a good friend of Arnold Schwarzenegger's now.
Apparently so. Apparently he's got to give me his number. I got to ask Arnold what was going on with the Terminator movies, bro.
I mean, it's a whirlwind, right? Like they have you on for the next game, for game 2 of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Did you have any sleep going into this?
I mean, for the game 2, no. I was fucking exhausted. I was so tired because like by the time I fell asleep, it was like 1 a.m. Like after I was done like booking all the flights and shit with everyone. So I slept for like 4 hours. And then like I got up at 5 because we had to drive to the airport. And like I was there, I got on the plane. I couldn't fall asleep on the plane because I was too excited. And I got there and I was just on 4 hours of sleep. I hadn't eaten anything. So I was just like fucking depraved of like everything. And I'm just fucking, but like my adrenaline is just keeping me awake and keeping me powering through.
And I'm sure you're getting all of this other stuff too. Like I'm sure your phone is getting blown up from everybody.
Oh, it's absurd. Yeah, I mean, just especially like the first night I was on the stream because that stream did like 30 or 40,000 views or some shit, and like a bunch of people like were hitting me up like, dude, holy fuck, I'm so happy for you. I mean, it's just I've never felt more accepted and beloved in my entire life. Just like, it's just the avalanche of people just telling you like that you deserve it and I'm happy for you. It feels great. It felt so great.
And then the Red Sox lost.
And then the Red Sox lost. And it's like, fuck. It's like, this sucks.
But I mean, is that like, it's kind of like you're riding this high and like, maybe if they go on a run, maybe you're in New York a little bit.
I would have been sticking around in New York for a month if they'd kept winning.
Yeah.
Because like, I was like, I'll stay here. And they're like, hey, stay here as long as the Red Sox are in the playoffs. I'm like, okay, sounds good.
There's a line that you said when, though, I remember in that video that they had that I just thought was so... It stuck with me, and I think it stuck with a lot of people because I remember people retweeting it a lot. But they asked what you told work, and you said, gotta go, dreams calling.
Yeah.
What did you tell? Like when you got back, did you tell them? Like, did you just put in your 2 weeks notice, or did you just?
There's no 2 weeks notice. I mean, dude, like I was supposed to go into work that morning. I told them like, hey, sorry, but like the thing that like I told you was my priority is like fucking presenting me a opportunity that I literally cannot miss. So see ya.
Did they say anything
fire me?
To
you gotta fire me.
Like, are they like, don't show your face around here anymore?
No, my boss. I heard the boss above my boss was kind of like that at first, but like my boss, she was very happy for me, and like I felt a little bad, like like that sucks that you guys got to fill extra shifts or whatever, but like at the end of the day, like this is my dream, and it's if I would be the biggest idiot on planet Earth to be like no, like fucking I got to work tomorrow. Like
you have to take responsibility for your own happiness.
Even if they hadn't given me the job, like just the boost of all those people like coming in, seeing me on that stream and like, boosting up the visibility of my stream would have made it worth it.
So would you say now you got this contract, you got this huge boost, you're making content every day. I'm seeing you on Barstool for Patriots games now. Like I remember getting a message from somebody like just after this being like, holy shit, I had no idea your co-host was Hogdale. And it was like somebody that I used to play softball with that I had known for a pretty long time. And it's like, yeah, I post clips pretty frequently here.
You literally in your bio had like the Hogdale stand or like number one Hogdale stand.
No, I think was it number one or it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah.
But it was just kind of like
Hogdale stand.
But it was one of those things also that it does put some perspective from where I am too, where it's just like, yeah, like I have a reasonable sized following. I've made appearances on things. Like I think it's like 16K now or something. But there's a big difference between being niche and being national. And you're national now, so I'm just curious, when you release content, like what's been the biggest thing that you've noticed for you?
I will say, like, just the Patriot team streams have been great. Like, I've been, now I average about 100, about 100, 150 viewers. This last stream was my most successful one where for football season. I averaged like 200 to 215. And that's just actually for YouTube. Between the two of them, it was about 300. And then on average, it's about 200 between the two of them, like for a regular game. So, well, yeah, it's been great. Like Barstool posts my content as well. Like they boost me like with their various social media channels. They collab with me on Instagram. Yeah, it's nice. I got like 40,000 followers on Twitter. I've got 11,000 on Instagram, 10,000 on TikTok. And like, yeah, I still have a shit ton of room to grow. I have a sneaking suspicion that the growth is going to get exponential again when baseball season comes around, because that's what I'm known for the most part. Like for football, like I kind of had to like let people know, like, hey guys, like I'm a Patriot fan too. Like I know, like fucking, like none of you follow me for that, but like I do Patriot shit. My deepest origins is with doing Patriot shit. So.
Is it hard for you, I guess? Do you find that the Patriots commentary and the Red Sox commentary is different? Because baseball does have a bit more of a natural, like, stop and start, I feel like.
Football is harder, for sure. Baseball is also just, I've realized, I think it's just more easily clippable for me. Like, it gives me more things to, like, pop off about. Actually, that might not even be true. It's just the Patriots have been so good for the majority of this year. I really haven't had a shit ton to like really bitch about. But like, yeah.
Do you find that you have more of an appreciation for baseball or football now that like you're doing it every single day for baseball? And football, you are doing every single game now. So you have to be able to describe, like, do you feel like you know the game better? Do you feel like you like it more, or is it more of a chore now?
No, never a chore. It's the shit that I love, man. Baseball, the more baseball I watch, the more I just love it. Like fucking, like I said, I never got burnt out because streaming the games is fun to me. It doesn't really feel like work. It's the everything else that feels like we're like uploading, whatever fucking. Doing all the back end shit that's like irritating to me. But even that now, like I have producers, so like I don't even really have to handle a lot of that shit.
Yeah, you're just you're the talent, that's for I mean, it's honestly in an ideal world, that's how any of this stuff does. There are people that just don't. There are people that want to be involved with this stuff, but they don't want to be the face of it. And that's something you've always been very comfortable being the face of things as long as I've worked with you, which is that's I think one of those. If we're gonna make a baseball comparison, that's the kind of thing that's like playing every day. Like nobody appreciates it, but it's like it's pretty important when you're putting yourself out there like that. And that's something,
Like after I got hired, like I got a call from like my best friend Brody, and like I told him about the contract, and like I told him I got hired. And I'm getting emotional literally just thinking about it. Because like he said, like, dude, you did it. And like he'd sound like he was so happy for me. And like he'd never been more happy for a person his entire life. And she's like, you did it. And I thought, I'm like, I did do it. It's just, I did it. I chased my dream and I accomplished it. And I hope every person in their entire life experiences that. Like I can't properly put into words the pure bliss, elation, and joy that you feel when everything that you've been working for bears fruit and fucking you just accomplish it. Like you set out what you accomplished to do.
So what happens after you reach your dream?
Now it's just I've always had like kind of a competitive spirit. I've told you this before, like back when like I was smaller. Like I always told you, like I look at like the next closest Red Sox account for me to pass in followers. Like, okay, I want to pass that guy now. You're in my sight line, motherfucker. It's time. But like now, because I blew by all of them. Like the only people that I'm left aiming at are the people, my heroes, like the people that like fucking that I got into the business loving and fucking enjoying their contests. Now they're the people who's next that I'm aiming for. Like fucking like, hey, Tyler Milliken, motherfucker, beep beep, I'm on the way. Like fucking, I'm chasing you. I think he's like 65,000 at 40. I'm gonna catch up to your ass, motherfucker.
If you could talk to that high school version of Hogdale now, like as you are, like what would you tell him?
I just, it gets better. Honestly, just it gets better. Like fucking, when you're stuck in like a bad mind frame and like you're just like sitting there wallowing in hopelessness. And it's just like, there's a light. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Like fucking, what is it, like the track "All Things Must Pass" by George Harrison? It's like daylight has a habit of arriving at the right time. It's not always going to be this gray. Like it will get better. Maybe it'll take time, but it will get better.
Well, really appreciate your time, man, and always going to be a fan here. So just thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, dude. As anytime, literally anytime.